We're here at CoinSummit with Jesse Powell, CEO and founder of Kraken, and Constance Choi, General Counsel of Kraken. So what brings you to CoinSummit today?
Constance is on a panel today. I'm on a panel tomorrow. Other than that, we're just hanging out. So it's interesting to hear what the industry insiders have to say about the space, and obviously a great networking opportunity to meet people working on interesting things.
Cool. So Constance, you're going to be talking about regulation?
As always.
Do you ever get tired of talking about regulation?
It's a new day every day. You wake up and a different foreign finance minister has said X, Y, and Z, and you have to address it. So it's a fast evolving landscape, but it's pretty exciting. I think you're going to see more clarity coming in 2014.
We just heard that the IRS is calling Bitcoin property, and we're going to have to wait to see that all plays out. Yeah. But any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting first signal. I think that it's as good of a place as they could have ended up as in terms of a first indication. You know, the GAO is actually working on a study and recommendation that will be fed up to the Senate Banking Committee that it eventually adopts the guidelines on the federal level. So it'll be really interesting to harmonize how, you know, FinCEN on one hand has defined Bitcoin as a currency or as a money substitute, not as a currency, as a money substitute. And then on the other hand, you're having another branch of the federal government saying that this is more of a commodity, a property. So it'll be very interesting to see how that harmonizes, particularly since they're both members of the Treasury.
Very cool. So Jesse, I always hear people say there's no U.S. exchange, and I think a more fair statement is there's no exchange for U.S. citizens based in the U.S. Now,
right, yeah, there's no legal U.S. exchange.
There we go, there we go. So Kraken is going that way. Your goal is to be a U.S. exchange that's completely compliant, banking U.S. customers, correct?
That's right, yeah. Obviously, that's a long road to do it right. There are 48 states where you need money transmitter licenses to do this. It's an expensive and lengthy process, and every state has its own rules. And we've seen New York now is kicking back applications, so it seems like they want to funnel any Bitcoin businesses not through the traditional money transmitter process, but now through this bit license process. And they don't even know what that looks like yet. They're asking us to tell them what that looks like, and we don't know if that's going to end up being more or less onerous than the process that would have applied.
Do you think California is just waiting to follow New York's lead on this?
I don't think so. I think California, you know, they made a first step in the cease and desist letters they sent last year, and I think they learned from that mistake and are really dedicated to doing it right this time around. So on the state banking level, you have the CSBS now forming a task force made up of really the most active regulators on the state level in this space. So that includes Texas, Washington, California, New York. And so I think you're going to see, I think there's going to be an effort. There's already been a precedence where states will do joint examinations of companies that cross borders. So, you know, joint examination is one avenue they can go. You can also come up, another avenue that the CSBS might come up with in conjunction with data and the Bitcoin Foundation might be, you know, a model rule of what a model examination might look like for companies in this space. And then there's another proposition that maybe if we have best practices set for, you know, how these money transfer companies should be regulated, then there should be some sort of safe harbor and some scalable rules that apply, you know, of entrepreneurs of different sizes and that hold different numbers of customer funds. So I think that everyone is very active. People are looking for the answers. There's really a huge vacuum now because there isn't a clear answer. So there's an opportunity for the industry to really be in dialogue with the regulators now to shape the regulations that are to come. So I think everyone is now very active. There's a lot of scrutiny, and hopefully there will be something that is balanced and substantive that comes out of that process.
DATA is the Digital Asset Transfer Authority, or sorry, Digital Asset Transfer Authority. Did I get that right, Constance?
Yes, that's right. It's a mouthful. Data is easier.
Exactly. So can you give us an update on DATA? Where is it sitting right now?
Sure. Yes, we just had our board elections. So, you know, among
Congratulations.
Thank you. So, you know, Patrick Merck is one of our new board members, as is John Besha of Circle, Stan Stalnaker of Hub, you know, Idan of FFite. And you know, we are now about 30 companies strong from around the globe. We've been working with financial regulators from all over the world. So we met with 5 different foreign finance regulators in the last 2 months alone. We're working with the GAO, we're working with the CSBS. We're also on the Bank Secrecy Act Advisory Group. So we're going to be, you know, working directly with FinCEN to help them develop policies around this. And we are holding our annual meeting, actually, our first annual meeting in DC on April 10th and 11th. It's going to be co-hosted by the World Bank. It's going to be held on site at the IMF. So it's really an unprecedented opportunity for the global financial community to meet the digital currency community. And hopefully this will be a platform where we can really start turning around the narratives from all the noise into the real utility and the real use cases for this technology. So we're pretty excited. We hope a lot of people from the industry will be able to make it. We're going to have a lot of great World Bank attendees as well. So yeah, April 10th and 11th. And immediately following that conference and gala, we're going to have workshops where we've got working committees already working on best practices for AML, consumer protection, data security, and it'll be a chance for people in the industry to all get together in one room and start hammering out these things.
Excellent. So it seems like all we're doing is talking about regulation, in Bitcoin. But you've got some good news. You guys raised a Series A, correct?
Yeah, we just raised $5 million.
Excellent.
Hopefully that'll give us some runway and not all just go to legal fees. But it'll give us at least time to explore the next year and a half, and hopefully gain some market share and hopefully just grow the pie as a whole.
For sure. I think everyone really respects what you've done without not operating illegally in the U.S. and jumping through the hoops and going the way that it's supposed to be done. So we're all really happy to hear that you raised this money, and I think you'll do something pretty good with it.
Thanks.
So cool.
Last year, actually, people weren't able to appreciate what a market differentiator, our technical architecture, our security, and our legal compliance infrastructure was. Users were saying, well, if I sign up at this exchange, I only need to give them an email address. Why do I need to go through this process with you? Right. So now users are beginning to become a little more sophisticated and understand that it's really important that they know, who their exchange is run by. Are they backed by credible investors? Are they operating on full reserves? What is their technical security and architecture like? So we're actually getting, as these new regulations and as some of the DDoS attacks and the different assaults on the exchanges, start showing different vulnerabilities. I think you're seeing a professionalization. You're seeing more users appreciating the product and the backing and the infrastructure that we've built around it. So, part of why we're here actually is that Pamir is, part of Hummingbird Ventures, who led our round. So, we're here to also support him in this conference and what he's been able to put together in a really short amount of time.
Cool. Well, thank you, Jesse.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Constance.
Thanks, Jered.
For more information on Kraken and CoinSummit, check out the show notes at moneyandtech.com.